Hello and welcome. This is Dr. Shiny here with a pick a card reading. This is a special reading. We will get a message from your future self, and your future self is going to tell you where you're headed, what's going to help you, and what's not going to help you. What you need to avoid. So I have 5 crystals here to aid in your selection. If you have never done a pick a card reading before, what you're going to do is you're going to choose one of these 5 piles, and there will be a list of timestamps in the comment section or the description of the video, which will fast forward to whatever section in the reading you chose, or whichever pile you chose. If you have a strong feeling that you want to go back and choose another one, it is certainly possible that more than one of these is meant for you. I will leave that up to your intuition as to whether you feel satisfied with your first choice or would like to continue, because certainly this will be applicable to or some of these piles will be applicable to more than one person. So your intuition will guide you there. So what we have for the first pile, this is Selenite. We have Bismuth. This is Labradorite. This is Fluorite. And this is Quartz. I've chosen all crystals here that have a strong association in my mind with the future or with ambition, looking forward. And I have a little bit of help from some other crystals up here. And I'm going to give you a minute to go ahead and choose which one you would like. And this, of course, is pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, pile 4, and pile 5. So go ahead and, if you'd like to meditate for a minute and select your card. Okay, so if you have made your selection, please scroll down and find the timestamp for your pile that you have chosen, and we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so here we have pile number 1. If you selected pile number 1 with the Selenite, let's go ahead and get to your reading. So, for pile number 1, you are headed toward a new emotional awakening or a opportunity to experience a rebirth of emotions that may have been either suppressed or just a little bit foreign to you. This could be a new sense of happiness or a new relationship or just sense of emotional fulfillment, right? This is a positive emotion. This is not necessarily something to like heartbreak or any type of emotion that you would not welcome into your life. This is very positive emotion that you are headed to. So what will hinder you in this process is the 5 of Wands, and this represents a sort of like a struggle of willpower. This is needing to kind of get to the top above the others, you know, trying to perhaps put others down to build yourself up, that type of thing. This is going to hinder you from the process, so you're going to be helped by the process of the moon, which is the unknown, and your subconscious, your intuition welling up from the unknown. So what's going on here is that you don't want to be fighting too much about what you think you want, or whatever it is that you're going after. You don't want to be fighting for it so much, because there is a sense of fulfillment here that is not within your conscious mind, that is going to bring you a lot more satisfaction and a lot more joy. So it's about kind of being open to that, being looking out rather than focusing on your thoughts or what you're after, that kind of thing. This is going to come about very naturally. This is going to come up almost as if, just by chance, out of nowhere. So this is going to come up from the subconscious. This is not going to be something that you really need to assert yourself on to be able to achieve. And out of that process of surrendering to the unknown, you can see this figure. She looks like she's kind of just floating down into the ocean, not a real care in the world. So this is the energy that will help you. Whereas trying to best others, trying to struggle with others is not going to be so beneficial to you in this pursuit. So let's go ahead and move on to card number 2. So card number 2, here we have your reading. This is for those who chose Bismuth. And let's go ahead and get started. So for Bismuth, card number 2, your future self is telling you that there is a new opportunity for knowledge and yes, the sunlight here shining through the darkness. This is a lifting of a veil, a enlightenment, and this is also sometimes an idea that comes bursting through that almost seems to solve your problems miraculously. And it is a wonderful, warm energy, and this is what's coming your way. So in order to get there, what's going to help you is this Four of Swords. Now, this is telling you to take some time to rest your mind, to definitely not overthink the situation, but to kind of allow your mind to work for itself. Don't force it. Don't sit there and try to pry every single aspect of the situation apart to be able to get to your answer. Your answer will come to you, but what's important is for you to rest your mind and to allow it to flow naturally rather than to force it. This is, something you're in this card. She's in a nest, so there's something being birthed as soon as you can fall into this sort of energy about just allowing yourself to relax, allowing yourself to maybe do some meditation. This big idea comes to you not from brute forcing, but from letting go and allowing it to spring up naturally. So what'll hinder you, what won't be in your best interest, is this Ace of Wands in the reverse. So this is choosing a new direction in a sort of rash way, or feeling like you're at your wit's end and you'll just sort of try anything. That's not going to be the way to go for you right now. It's not going to be about just giving it everything. I think you've already been giving it quite a bit, and in this situation, what needs to happen is you need to sort of recharge your batteries, and your mind will work a lot better, and there'll be some things, I think, that you maybe didn't consider before, or you may have just been too tired to realize. So when you come to this situation with a little bit more of a fresh mind, then the solutions are going to present themselves for you, and you don't need to go you don't need to keep trying these less than successful methods of getting what you want, because very shortly that will all work itself out if you just allow things to be a little bit. So that is your reading from your future self from pile number 2 for the Bismuth. So let's go ahead and move on to card number 3. So card number 3, this is for you who chose the Labradorite. This is going to be your reading from your future self. We're going to go over where you are headed, what will help you, and what will hinder you. So let's go ahead and get started. Pile number 3 with the Labradorite. The place that you are headed from your future self is the Two of Cups. This is a harmonious and balanced relationship, a wonderful, emotionally fulfilled relationship, or this can, if it does not mean between you and another person, it means two harmonious forces, within yourself. But more than likely, this means a harmonious relationship with others, or another, and very, very closely associated with relationships of a romantic nature. So this is where you're headed. What is going to help you is the Chariot in the reverse. This means that you might want to focus a little bit less on where you're going and conquest, that type of a thing, and then sort of take a back seat a little bit. This is, instead of driving your life forward so much, being open to possibilities and just sort of going out and enjoying yourself and not being so purposeful and ambition driven in everything that you're doing. So somebody is looking for you to be a little bit more fun, and if you can kind of invite that less driven energy into your life in a balanced and moderated way, this will attract this type of harmonious relationship into your life, right? So what will hinder you is the King of Swords. So what's not going to help you here is manipulation, trying to manipulate another, or trying to essentially fool someone into being with you. What you want is to kind of let go and stop trying to be somebody so much and be yourself. And that's what's going to draw someone who's really, truly attracted to what you bring to the table. Otherwise, there's always going to be this sort of balance between you and the other person, because what it essentially is they're waiting for you to be the person who you presented yourself as when you first met them. So if you want to avoid the type of relationships that are just a waste of time and don't really lead anywhere, you've got to kind of drop those false pretenses. And it may be that you have been conditioned just out of searching for success to put up this sort of front, but it's kind of not going to serve you in this situation as much. So this may be a personal challenge for you, but your need to be right, your need to win, to dominate, will ultimately hinder you more than help you in this situation. So that is your reading from your future self for pile number 3. Let's go ahead and move on to pile 4. Okay, pile number 4. This is for those of you who chose the Fluorite. Let's go ahead and get to your reading. This will be your message from your future self, where you're headed, what's going to help you, and what's going to hinder you, or what won't help you. Okay, here we go. Okay, for pile number 4 with the Fluorite, the message from your future self is coming from a place where you have the Hanged Man in the reverse. This is an indication that you're at a place in your life where you're having trouble letting go. There is some wonderful things, some enlightenment that comes from just sort of realizing that there's nothing really else that you can do. and that allows you to sort of accept things the way they are, and acceptance changes the nature of things. So there is a situation coming up where you're going to be kind of resisting that just release, that letting go. And I think that what your helps and hindrances here are designed to do is to help you get through that situation. I think it might be kind of difficult for you. Normally we see kind of more of in a upright position in this, where you're headed. It'll be kind of like where your ambition is taking you, or the place that you want to end up. In this particular situation, this is pointing toward an obstacle that needs to be overcome, right? So this will be something that you're going to have to get through. So the Hanged Man is really, it's kind of one of my favorite cards, because it's this kind of energy where you perhaps had been, struggling with everything. You've been fighting really, really hard, and then at some point you just sort of just give up, you let go. And when you give up or let go, you realize that there was really nothing to struggle about in the first place. And so it's like the problem just sort of disappears just by result, or by the process of letting go, of just getting over it. You know what I mean? And so there's this sort of enlightenment that comes from that situation, where it becomes kind of a metaphor for your life in general, and you find out that a lot of your struggles, and this isn't just about one problem, this is sort of a big paradigm shift in your life. So this is a lot of your struggles, a lot of your frustration in life comes from kind of fighting against the inevitable. And when you kind of let go and flow with the inevitable, your life is a lot more enjoyable and a lot more fluid, right? So this is the direction that your future self wants you to go, and it's a struggle that you have to get over, and he's trying to tell you how to do it here with this sort of Queen of Swords energy. So this is what's going to help you. The Queen of Swords, this is an intellectual person, but she's very much mastered the difference between negative self-talk, positive self-talk, that kind of thing, where it's you want to use your thoughts for your benefit. They are very powerful, but they can hurt you as well as help you. That's why swords are, two-edged, and there's this idea that thoughts are really a tool, a means to an end. So it's not as though there are good thoughts and bad thoughts, but thoughts will inevitably either help you or hurt you on your journey. So you can think of that as like good and bad thoughts. But the Queen of Swords has learned to use her thoughts effectively to kind of get what she's wanting, or more than in the case of the King. The King is like very projective with his thoughts. He can manipulate others. He can and not so much in like a nefarious way, but he can get what he wants using thought. He's quite the chess player, right? Whereas the Queen of Swords, she's a little bit more introspective, and she's able to utilize her thoughts to kind of put her life in order and to kind of organize her thoughts. And so this is going to help you. So it's going to be taking stock of what you can control and what you can't control. And furthermore, once you realize that you can't control things, to then let them go. So what's going to hinder you is the Judgment in the reverse card. So this is going to be self-doubt, or a feeling of unworthiness, that you would be sort of judged negatively. This is kind of, I'm working on a project, but it's not finished yet, and I don't want you to judge it, and that kind of thing. So this kind of thought right here is what the Queen kind of has to overcome. You have to overcome these dark thoughts. You think that you're sort of preparing for something, or that you're being prudent when you're worried about the situation, but in reality, all it's really doing is sapping your energy and holding you back. So this whole paradigm shift comes through this realization that you don't have to control the situation totally. It is it's gonna work out okay if you just kind of trust in yourself and talk yourself up rather than talk badly about yourself in your internal dialogue. Right? So that's your reading for your future self from pile number 4. So let's go ahead and move on to pile number 5. Okay, pile number 5. This is a reading from your future self. This is for you who chose the Aura Quartz. So we're going to figure out where you're headed, what's going to help you, and what's going to hinder you. All right, let's get to it. Okay, this is for pile number 5 who chose the Aura Quartz. You're headed toward a situation where the King of Pentacles here has a tremendous command over the financial. He's very successful. He's got everything he needs, and even a lot of what he wants, if not all. But he has become very successful in the financial or the physical realm. It could be, you know, some project that you're organizing or something like that. So this is a great omen of success for where you're headed. So what's going to help you get there is this 6 of Pentacles, 6 of Coins. The 6 of Coins is about a balance between giving and receiving, and also it has a hint of charity in it. So this is helping someone else is going to help you. So this means invest. This means that you're going to need, if you want to reach this sort of success here, you're going to need to rely in some way on the work of others that will come from when you plant some sort of a seed, when you give to others. That's going to enable them to achieve some manner of success, which will then have a way of flowing back to you. So this is going to be important. Just investment in general. It might be to somebody personally that you know, but it seems like there's probably an opportunity that'll pretty clearly convince itself where you're thinking, well, I'd like to invest in that, but I don't know if I really should. I don't know if it's a smart financial decision. This is telling you, you know, there is probably going to be something that's going to pay off in the long run that is coming your way. So be on the lookout for that. What's going to hinder you in this situation is the Queen of Cups in the reverse. So this is kind of being, you know, I like this card because there's this water line, and normally she's sort of halfway above the water, so she's got a nice balance. Well, when you flip it on its side, it kind of looks a little more unpleasant, where she's kind of stuck down beneath the water. So this is being overwhelmed with your emotions, getting too emotional with somebody. So in the workplace, you definitely want to make sure you're not letting your temper or your sadness or anything like that get the better of you. In this situation, it's going to be, you know, if you need to excuse yourself to avoid some sort of an emotional outburst around others, that sort of thing, then make sure that you do that. Don't let your emotions sort of get above your head. This is not to reject or suppress your emotions, but to put things in perspective and realize that you're ultimately headed for this. So if that's the case, you know, you're not going to want to just lose control of your emotions, because it's not going to do you any good toward getting to this goal. You know, so I remember one time a fellow that I worked with was being very, very careless with his money because he was very frustrated with something that happened at work, and he kind of just left it laying around like he didn't even care. I'm like, well, you know, the whole reason that you're here is to get money, so I don't think anything is worth getting that upset over in this situation. And he said, oh, well, you know, I didn't think about it like that. You know, thanks, that helps. So that's kind of the energy that you're looking for right now, is not to get too emotionally overwhelmed, but to remember, keep your eye on the prize and remember what you're after. And I think that about does it. So if you enjoyed, please subscribe or like, and check out my other videos as well. I also do live readings occasionally. And I also do monthly general readings for each sign, so please be on the lookout for those. And I hope you enjoyed, and until next time, thank you. This has been Dr. Shiny for a Pick a Card tarot reading.